The problem that we saw last night is the problem that we've had the Republicans have had all along. Nobody, when they gang up, they can maybe get something on him, but nobody can go toe to toe and land punches alone.
Yeah. Let me go, Monica. What I think is very frustrating to me is one sense is there seems to be now an orchestrated campaign, and that campaign is very clear, is they want to get to a convention floor fight, and that's what Mitt Romney was suggesting by saying John Kasich can win Ohio, Rubio would win Florida, Ted Cruz can win other states as well. And I don't care, I've been neutral in this race, but to me, if they're going to have outside forces trying to undermine a particular candidate, if it does become a floor fight, I think it's going to get ugly, and I don't see a united party in the end, and that leaves a path for Hillary to become president.
Look, all of the incoming that Donald Trump took yesterday, it started with Mitt Romney's speech and then went on to Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, who were landing blows against Trump. They had him on the defensive throughout the entire day yesterday. Keep this in mind, Sean. This is a first-time politician. He's never run for anything, and he was surrounded, particularly yesterday, by two of the nation's greatest debate pros in Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz, and he is still standing. He lives to fight another day. That is a remarkable achievement for Trump, regardless of what you think of him. I think if the establishment goes forward, represented by the likes of Mitt Romney and so many others who find Donald Trump unacceptable, I think if they go forward by trying to drive this to a contested convention, they will see a revolt among Republican and conservative voters, moderates, independents, people who are now deeply invested in Donald Trump. They will see a rebellion of the likes they have never seen before.
Adriana, let you pick up on that point, because I actually agree with Monica. Let's go down the line. Let's say candidate A has the most delegates going into the convention, and that the establishment is successful in this effort to stop candidate A or candidate B, and then the person with the most delegates loses in a convention floor fight and an establishment candidate is put in. Do you think any of the people that voted for the insurgent candidates would show up on Election Day?
No, as Monica says, there will be a huge revolt, because what Mitt Romney and establishment are doing is they're subverting the will of the people. They're interfering in democracy, and that's gonna really hurt the party. There's going to be major blowback, and all those Trump supporters are not going to show up. And then Hillary Clinton is going to win the nomination. And so this is really going to backfire against Mitt Romney and the establishment. And I'm actually embarrassed for Mitt Romney. I mean, this scathing speech he gave yesterday, all it demonstrated is how desperate the establishment is to lose power. The voters want change. Republicans all across this country want an outsider, because Washington is broken, and these get-along politicians haven't been able to change it.
And I've got to say to you, Charles, that in many ways I would argue that Donald Trump, Ted Cruz's candidacies, and that's 14 out of 15 victories, was created by the establishment's failure. We've got contests now coming up in Hawaii, Idaho, Michigan, Mississippi. You have big leads for Trump in a number of those states. Then you've got Illinois, we got Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Nebraska, then Hawaii, Idaho, Michigan, Mississippi, Louisiana, Michigan, Kentucky. A lot of these states Trump is winning in.
I think all of this can be laid at the feet of no one else but the establishment. The fact that first of all, that they left the the opening for him to step into to begin with, but then to completely to underestimate him at every step of the way, and then for him to have this this juggernaut of a campaign, and then we get 6 months into it, and we have the Republican Party having to turn to the only leader, I guess, that they have to try to do something about it, who's the guy that lost last time and lost a race he should have won.
Exactly.
But Monica, let me go back to you if I can for a second, and I just think that this is such a disastrous policy. Why not let the people now decide? If 60% of Americans are betrayed or feel betrayed by Republicans, why are they not getting that part or taking the responsibility for creating that scenario?
Look, Sean, they have to destroy these insurgencies, whether it's Donald Trump or Ted Cruz, who I thought had a phenomenal debate last night. I actually thought he won the debate. I mean, he was in command, he was in control, he was thoughtful, he was reasonable. Look, they have to try to kill this insurgency movement in the crib, before it actually gains more traction than it already has, and one of these two is in the presidency. They hate these two men, Donald Trump and Ted Cruz, but moreover, they fear them, because if either one is elected president, then they have no more control. Their gravy trains end, and that's the end of their whole hold on power. What the voters are saying is, we've had enough of all of y'all, and we're going to try something completely different because you've betrayed us, you betrayed conservative principles, and we are now willing to try something completely different. What you're seeing with Mitt Romney and the establishment is the death throes. They're now in the death throes. They are so desperate to try to cling to power and control that they're willing to now burn down the whole party. They're blaming Donald Trump and Ted Cruz for doing it, but actually the party was destroyed a long time ago by that same establishment.
I agree with that
Monica,
sentiment. It's a shame.
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Adriana.
Yeah, I agree with Monica 100%. And here in Massachusetts, Mitt Romney's home base, there is no one, no conservative that supports him trying to sabotage the will of the people. Donald Trump won big in Massachusetts in the primary, and basically the conventional wisdom here in Massachusetts is Mitt Romney should get lost and let the voters decide who should be the nominee of our party. And again, Mitt Romney lost twice. If he was the smartest guy in the room and he had all the answers, why did he lose twice? I found his speech yesterday enormously elitist, and I found it offensive. Basically what he's telling is millions of Republicans across the country, you're not smart enough to know who's best to run the party. You're not smart enough to know what to do when you get in the ballot box, and I think that's going to really backfire against establishment. It was insulting, just like his 47% comment was very insulting, and so I don't think this is going to hurt Donald Trump one bit.
Who's going to win? We got tomorrow Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Nebraska. Trump take a lot of those states. He's up in Louisiana for sure.
Yeah, it's they're closed caucuses or I think one primary, 3 caucuses. Caucuses are not Donald Trump supporters' favorite manner of doing this.
He's up a lot in Louisiana. He's up a lot in Michigan and Mississippi.
But I think that he will. I think he will do very well despite those obstacles.
Yeah. You agree with that, Monica? Last word.
Well, you know, victories beget victories, and there's no countering that Donald Trump certainly has the momentum. But I also think Ted Cruz has spent a lot of time in the South. We've got Louisiana coming up tomorrow, and Kansas, Kentucky. He's built real organizations there. So I think after last night's great debate performance, that Ted Cruz might give Donald Trump a real run for his money going forward.
In Louisiana, there's 2 polls out yesterday that have Trump up 18, one has him up 20, but we'll see if the debate had an impact. All right, thank you all for being with us.
Right.
And coming up,